Oh my gosh, it's finally here! Ugh! What is going on, Jigsaw fam? Jigsawflex here, and Paper Mario the Origami King exists. Like, what the heck? Nintendo dropped this, and we actually have a release date. This is exciting news. I'm here again with Slim Bang Shot, aka my good pal Brian. Brian, how do you feel about this?
It felt like Christmas morning. I haven't been this excited during the week in a long time.
Dude, we are so excited, guys, and this is our follow-up video on like the last thing that we talked about, what we want on the Paper Mario Switch game. And yeah, we're just gonna be talking about this game, specifically the reveal trailer, obviously, and some of the screenshots. But yeah, the last points we talked about were like the style, gameplay, and story, and characters and whatnot. We're just basically gonna follow up on that and like talk about them, discuss like what we got right, what we got wrong, and what we're really most excited about. So to start things off, we have the style or theme. We can definitely say, Brian, that it is Paper Mario Color Splash inspired, right?
No, yeah, it's definitely the Color Splash. There's obviously the change with the origami style, which wasn't in Color Splash, but
it's still there. Like, it's still like crafted.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of expected it just because of how like they did the same thing with the Luigi's Mansion 3, where it kind of had some of the old stuff, but it built off of the previous game with the style, and I kind of expected them to do the same thing with the Paper Mario series.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's perfect. Like, I love this style a lot. I think they should definitely continue with this, and it just, you know, the colors are really nice. They're very rich. Not only the fact that we're getting this style back, but I'm really glad it seems like this game is going to emphasize more on exploration. We talked about last time with the level structure, where the past two games were more level based. So I'm glad now it looks like to be more like open world. It like seems more interconnected. The theme of the worlds being there, being able to travel zone to zone, just naturally looks bigger. I remember seeing through some of the screenshots, like the grassy lands looked huge. You're able to like go through different areas through a boat, just like kind of in Wind Waker, where you can just sail through. I just like the idea. It seems more interconnected. So really glad that they're making this thing again. And I also noticed through the website, while it does look like it has some RPG Paper Mario elements, it looks to be more action-based or adventure. What do you feel about the whole entire theme, Brian?
I agree as well, and I think you pointed out too that it doesn't even have the RPG tag for the genre of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not worried about that. I'm actually excited because like I already saw from the gameplay that it seems like it will have more of the RPG style more than Color Splash. But I also saw like you were like jumping around, getting coins when you're in the river, which I'm excited for them to bring stuff like that back, which I think that's why they labeled it as action.
Right, and I think it works out. I think it's like a good mixture. Like, it has some of the core Paper Mario elements that we love, and there's gonna be like new mechanics, which is something we pretty much expect from Nintendo to do, because for every new game, I feel like they have to do something new to just make it look different from the rest. And that goes to our next point, actually. But right before we talk about gameplay, I want to talk about, by the way, Toad Town returns as like a recurring theme, so I'm glad that there's like a little like hint of Paper Mario 64-ness.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna do stuff with throughout the game. There's going to be callbacks to the previous games.
Right, like a merging thing, like occurring ideas of like old Paper Mario and new ones. So for the next topic, we have gameplay.
So we didn't see that much. I mean, there was a little bit of the battle. You could see it had it in Japanese, and then people later translated it, but it was like 20 seconds. It doesn't look like it's going back to the turnstile of Thousand Year Door 64, but hold your breath. You don't need to panic yet. It looks more complex than Sticker Star and Color Splash, and you actually have to put in a lot of strategy into it, because I noticed there's up to, I think, 12 slices on that circular platform you're on. I'm envisioning at a certain point that there's going to be multiple hordes of enemies, and you have to prioritize, okay, which ones am I going to line up? Am I going to line up the heavy hitters, or just get rid of all the smaller enemies first, which is kind of a theme in other RPGs. So I think it's kind of like an RPG in that sense, but it's also unique, because I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was kind of bummed that it doesn't seem like there's like a leveling up system-ish. Like, there's no like, I don't see BP points or anything like that. Like, I don't see any of those type of numbered RPG elements, but it seems like it's still keeps, again, with the core element, with you like just strategizing which enemies to hit first, because the whole ring-based system, it's almost like a 360-degree thing where you have to prioritize your time to do different stuff. And that comes to my next point, the time limit in the top right corner. That's going to be interesting because like you kind of feel more pressured now, how you feel like, oh, I have less things to do or less time to do what I want to do, so there's like a sense of challenge.
Yeah, and I also want to add as well, I know a lot of people are going to freak out when they saw the shiny boots, and to be honest, I was also nervous when I saw that, but the more I think about it, when I looked at the gameplay for the battle they showed, when it kind of looked like the beginning of the game, and you already noticed you have the hammer and the boots. So my theory is that you're going to have kind of the same types of attacks you could do in the previous games, but the boots are like an enhancement you can get later in the game so that you can do more damage, because you can already do 12 damage in the beginning of the game, what it looks like, but then you're able to do 23 with the shiny boots. So I don't think it's going to be where you have to have like the jump sticker cards, you have to have the hammer, you got to have this other stuff. I don't think it's going to be as limited as it was in the previous games.
Yeah, I feel like you go learn them, and maybe the idea of having cards isn't bad, but to the point where they're not like you use them once and they die. I feel like it's just an ability you learn, whether it be like a card shaped type of thing, but that doesn't matter. As long as it's like you learn it and then you're able to use it and not like be limited to the amount of uses in a sense, like in the sense where you have to collect cards. We don't know too much about it, but me and you assume that it's not gonna be like something to panic about.
Yeah, and I also, if you remember in the previous games, it was pretty basic with the jump. Like you could jump and you had a hammer for Thousand Year Door, but you got the badges which allowed you to do different kinds of jumps. So maybe it's the same thing here, where it's not just like, oh, like there's a worn down boots and then there's the shining ones and that's the only thing. Maybe it's other ones as well, where it's like, okay, this jump, you jump all the way up to the top of the ceiling and it does like 20 damage when you come down, but you can only do it on one enemy. But then there's another sticker where you can hit multiple enemies. So maybe it's like you choose which cards you're going to have going into the battle, and then you can only use those kinds. That's what I'm kind of like, it's kind of like equipping a badge, but you're choosing which cards you have.
Yeah, and as long as it's reusable, it's totally fine. And by the way, Brian, did you notice that there's the audience now in there again? Finally,
yeah.
Like people are actually in the background.
I wonder if there's going to be any elements to that where the audience can throw stuff at the enemies of you, like they could in Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, they throw stuff at you and we have to dodge it, or they help you or something. That is something I miss from the old game, so I'm glad that makes like a little appearance. But when it comes to outside combat, the new thing they talked about was the 1000 fold arms. I guess that's the name of it according to the Paper Mario website. Folded arms is like a mechanic used to solve like puzzles in the world, interacting basically with the environment. So kind of just, I don't know, to me it's a cool concept. I'm not sure how often it's going to be used, but it just reminds me of an ARMS character. So maybe that's our new ARMS character, right, Brian, for Smash?
Yeah, that Paper Mario is going to be a skin in Smash.
Confirmed.
ARMS character.
Confirmed. But moving on from the gameplay, we finally have characters. Let's talk about the characters, Brian, for a second. Partners are freaking back in an extent. Do you want to explain to the audience what we believe?
Yeah, so personally, I'm not sure. It looks like for the Bob-omb, that is the only character so far where you can see they're in multiple screenshots that we were provided. So I'm kind of thinking like they're going to have a certain character that you interact with for each area or I don't know if there's chapters, but just you only interact with them in a certain area, but they're not with you the entire journey. But maybe the Bob-omb could be different to that, as well as Kamek, because you see them in multiple areas that don't look connected per se. So I'm not sure about those two, but the other ones like the Toad or Spike, maybe it's only in one area that you partner up with them.
Well, we'll definitely see more about it. Like, I don't know how we feel like about it. Like we're kind of like indifferent. Like it's cool that we get to use them in specific areas, and I think you mentioned a little bit about that in the last video, how maybe we'll have certain partners for certain areas, and I think you got that on the dot. But it's really cool to see that we have Kamek and Bowser Jr., people that we've never seen before, and I wonder if we can see them in battle. And another thing to mention, Peach seems to be like a villain again. Like, theory for me is just that the main antagonist, which we talk about in the title, the Origami King, which, by the way, spoiler alert, if you don't know through the website, his name is King Ollie. He's like the main guy, it seems to be. and Peach is probably like, you know, one of those Origami villains, and wonder if we could actually verse her in this game, like just like in the old ones, like Shadow Queen in Thousand Year Door. Well, you know, remember that when she was like possessed?
Yeah, that would be very interesting. I wouldn't expect that. I didn't. That's not something I even considered when we talked about in the previous video about what we could see in the gameplay or just the story.
Yeah, totally. Like, I just am super excited to see where that goes. And leading out to the last part of what we want to talk about is the story. So, yeah, as mentioned, it's basically the Origami King being like, yo, you infiltrate the Mushroom Kingdom, specifically Peach's castle. And we see that Bowser is freaking in, like, the chambers, like, on a clothespin. What's up with that?
I don't know. I think you're gonna eventually rescue him at some point, but my theory is that in the beginning of the game, Bowser Jr. and Kamek escape Bowser's castle, but somehow he either gets turned into the Origami style before that, or some other area he's in and he gets changed into it, and they need Mario's help to rescue him. So maybe later on in the game he joins your party as well, which would be cool.
That would be really cool, because I wanted to see what Bowser could possibly do. We don't know exactly yet, but yeah, I would want to see Bowser be playable. We haven't seen that in a while. He's always like a cool just companion to have, because he's always the villain, and now we actually see him again, not a villain. We haven't seen that in a while, and that's gonna be a good like bonus. As well as like another theory I want to mention is we see that Luigi in one of the screenshots like comes in supposedly early in the game, and like it starts off with like Peach saying, yo, Mario Bros, want to come go to the Origami Festival or whatever the heck she says, and Luigi's there again with the cart that we see in Paper Mario Color Splash. And we saw Luigi in Paper Mario Color Splash time to time, you know, just different appearances, and he actually like helps Mario in the end, you know, like escaping this area with his cart. So it's cool that we see him in this game again, and it's cool to see that he's in the beginning with that cart, so it's a nice touch from Paper Mario Color Splash. And the theory I have is we saw a split second in the chambers, the same scene with Bowser and this clothespin. I remember seeing Luigi, or it looks like Luigi, could have been Mario, I don't know, but Luigi looks to be held hostage, like under that silhouette frame, and we're thinking, oh my god, what if Luigi gets origamied, right? Because the whole idea is everyone's getting origamied and being controlled by this king. And the idea is like, to me, what if Luigi went before Mario went to Peach with that weird freaky like scene about being creased and saying yes or no if you want to be alive or whatever. Luigi must have went first, that's the theory, and he got origamied. It would be also cool to see Luigi back as like a villain. That would be insane, like Mr. L, where he gets controlled.
That would be a great theory. I hope both of us are right, or at least just to see a different side of Luigi again. And I just want to see him as involved as in Paper Mario as possible, because the more you have Luigi in Paper Mario, the better.
Honestly, yeah, he's always been a great appearance, just like a subtle appearance, and seeing him again, kind of like in Super Paper Mario with having a bigger role, would be something, you know, I would like, especially as a Luigi fan myself. So overall, we are just super hyped about this game. I think what I'm interested in the most is the battle system, just because we don't really know too much about it. I just like the idea. I just want to know more of it. Like what kind of items we will get. Will we earn these supposedly, as we keep mentioning, cards where we can like enable them as like BP points or like badges in general, and be like, yo, we can finally learn, I don't know, spring jump, multi-bounce, whatever it is. I'm just saying stuff from Thousand Year Door, but stuff like that. I just want to know more about it, see if the audience will like do something, see how hard it could get, especially if you see how massive the ring is, and you could probably put a million enemies there, honestly. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to this story because it seems very dark.
I agree as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the characters work and who's with you the entire game versus... I wonder if there's any other unique characters. Like, so far we only saw kind of the basic enemies, but maybe there's going to be a unique character down the line, so...
Yeah, I really hope so too. I mean, that was something I wanted in the other video they made, where we wanted kind of unique characters. It seems like we're being more focused on the Mario universe, but I think it's okay. I think what the direction they're going towards in this game will work out. I think this will be an amazing game, honestly. But before we depart, guys, I just want to say, if you are interested in seeing more screenshots of the game, I will put a few links down below. But check out the trailer if you guys haven't. Brian, is there anything else you want to say before we end today's video?
I feel like it's criminal if I don't bring it up since I'm a big Metroid Prime player, and we saw at the end of the trailer Mario is wearing a Samus helmet.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe that means they're gonna make an announcement in the future that they've made pretty good progress on Metroid Prime 4, since they kind of did the same thing with Luigi's Mansion and Smash. So
It's
maybe
true.
it's like a tiny like, hey everybody, don't freak out. We're working on it, but
We're working
we'll
on
see.
Metroid. Don't freak out. We got the helmet here, so shut up.
I don't think it's on accident that was at the end of the video.
It's
so.
and I mean, even if it's not, it's just the show that the humor's there, all the humor, the writing. I just cannot wait for this game, man. Like, it's coming, and it's coming July.
I don't want people to think like, oh my god, like this is gonna be the next Thousand Year Door, but I also don't want people to think it's gonna be in the same level as Color Splash and Sticker Star, because honestly, just what I've seen so far has already convinced me that it's gonna be better than both of those games, and maybe it'll be better than Thousand Year Door, but I just like my expectation has already risen, so I think this is gonna be a solid game.
Yeah, honestly, like that's basically what this video is about. Paper Mario, the Origami King, looks amazing, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. More Paper Mario content coming soon to the channel. I'm actually working on the Super Paper Mario related video, and if you guys want to see more Brian, aka Slim Bankshot, if you guys want to call him that, tell him to make that as his new YouTube name. I swear, you better do it. But no, seriously, we're gonna do more Paper Mario content in the near future. I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been Kirk, and this has been
Slim Bank Shot, aka Brian.
and we'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.
See ya.